11 of the Midwest Donut Review. I'm Dave Leggett in St. Louis, Missouri, and on the West Coast, handling everything out there donut-wise, but
Not
mostly
everything.
in Sacramento. That's my son, Eric Leggett. Eric, good morning. How are you?
Completely in Sacramento.
There will never be a show where we go, good afternoon.
What?
What
does the time have to do with it?
Because you're not getting donuts at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
This is the breakfast donut. This is the breakfast donut show.
Correct.
Okay. So
what are you talking about?
I
brought up
every opening of our show will be good morning.
Yeah. That's not the part that I was not vibing with.
What part? The West Coast?
That I'm only going to be in Sacramento?
No, mostly. I guess I said it mostly in Sacramento.
Yeah, no, always in Sacramento.
No, you'll make the big long drive when, like in year 4, when you've hit every Sacramento donut place.
Okay, so what are you gonna do? Because you've already shown that you go to other places in the Midwest and don't do donut reviews. So,
wow, I'm hurt.
I'm just saying you went to Nashville. You went to Nashville on a recording day and you didn't do a donut review. So why is it on me to do all the travel?
Well, here's what I want to. I was gonna hide this because I'm a gamer. I've been having back spasms. But I woke up early, took Millie the dog with me, drove 40 minutes one way, all the way back, did all my pre-show prep.
Why would you wait to do the prep the day of?
With a back, well, the pictures and the cutting of the donuts, that sort of thing. All my other stuff was finished last night. But the point being, I'm in pain, and I'm not going to let anybody know it. I'm a gamer.
Besides everyone listening and me.
Well, now, because you poked the bear.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, I don't need to tell you that I'm playing in the Stanley Cup Finals on a broken leg. We know now.
You think this is the Stanley Cup Finals?
Not yet. No. This
episode 11 of our podcast.
It's the regular season. We're
yeah.
You know what?
This is game 4 of the regular season.
Yeah, we are definitely out of preseason. We've definitely cut the kids who need to go back to the A. And so now we're seeing what kind of team we have.
Yes.
All right. So for those of you new to the show, just tuning in, what we do is we buy 3 of the same donuts, sometimes similar donuts. Him in Sacramento, me here in St. Louis, and we compare and contrast, tell you how big it is, how much it costs, the name of the joint that we've hit, and as we start off every show now, Eric will lead us off with something sometimes strange, sometimes just factual, but it is the donut news of the week. Eric, what's new this week?
This one is also, it's similar to last week's, which I think is fun.
Are we exposing more bad donut sellers?
Well, no, because they've already been exposed due to this news article.
Okay.
I'm just sharing.
Okay,
so do you know what HEB is?
HEB?
Yes.
No.
Okay, it is a grocery store chain that is Texas-based.
Okay, now I've heard of it. Yes, it does ring a bell.
430 stores. Most of them are in Texas. They have some in Mexico. But it's their big grocery store chain.
Okay.
You've got, like, Schnucks in St. Louis.
Yes.
We've got, like, Rayleigh's here in Sacramento. That kind of thing.
Okay.
And grocery stores sell donuts. They have the bakery section. They sell donuts.
Sure.
Well, this HEB shopper, let's see if I can get his name. It just says Robertson, so maybe that's his first name, but it sounds like a last name to me. So this man named Robertson made a video about this Boston cream donut he got from HEB.
Okay.
He was just so excited to eat. So he picked up the donut to take a bite and immediately noticed something was off.
Okay.
Like a whole
I swear to God,
donut.
don't gross me out. Oh.
The donut was split down the middle. And you're like, okay, weird. But sometimes, with filled donuts, they sometimes like sandwich them.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
I guess it's
like
not.
a clamshell. Sure. I've seen that.
Yeah. But this one didn't really look like that. He said, as he takes a closer look to the pastry, it clicks. This appears to be a hot dog bun disguised as a pastry. He takes a bite to confirm, and yes, it is. It is a hot dog bun with chocolate icing and cream custard in the middle.
My hope is that this was like a prank guy on his last day on the job who's like, F it. I'm going to swap out the donut dough for a hot dog.
For a hot dog bun.
Oh.
That is disgusting.
Yeah, that's not a good combo. Hot dog bun and
and chocolate. So that's our news. HEB maybe getting a little lazy down there.
I am going to do a little research before our next show. I want to know what a Boston cream filling is and how it is different than a custard filling. Unless you already know.
I think it's just custard, but it's called a Boston cream because I don't know.
It's not. You don't think it's different ingredients or anything like that?
No,
Okay.
I think it's a custard filling. I think chocolate icing and custard is called a Boston cream. That's what I think.
Well, a Boston cream pie or a Boston cream cake is absolutely custard with chocolate. So I'm going to see between Boston cream and custard, and I will have that breaking news for next week's show.
I don't think that'll be breaking.
Boston cream.
I'm willing to bet it was Krispy Kreme that fucked it all up because I bet they put cream into donuts for some reason, and now they've thrown off the whole thing.
You think? All right. Now here's two items for next week's show. Do you think Dunkin' Donuts was the first to fill donuts? That can't be true.
No, those Krispy Kreme. I think Krispy Kreme was the first one to put like a cream filling inside a donut.
See,
not a custard, but like a cream, like a buttercream, which I think can be pretty gross.
It's a terrible combination to bite into.
It's just buttercream's just too much. It's too much to fill anything. Custard is lighter.
It must be cheap, which is why they're doing it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so moving on to our second portion of the show. I have found some crazy donuts here in the good old USA. In Long Beach, California, there is a joint called Holy Grail. Get it? Holy. I love it. Their starch for all of their donuts is taro-based. Taro? Taro-based.
Taro? I honestly don't know, but I like it. I like that flavor.
Yeah, it's a root veg. They fry all of them in coconut oil, so you get a little bit of that island flavor. I am not a fan of coconut, so I don't know that I would appreciate it. They're big donuts at the Holy Grail. Notorious POG. Passion fruit, orange, and guava. I think that's right up the alley of their starch.
That is crazy for a West Coast place.
Your sarcasm
to name a donut after one of the most famous East Coast hip hop artists, who I'm pretty sure didn't love the West Coast guys.
I don't think he did. Food of the Gods is one of their other offerings. It's cacao.
Wow, that's high praise there, guys.
Yeah, but it's cacao nibs and it's rolled in sugar. So you would think it would be over the top with that name, but it's actually just, cacao nibs are very strong. You got to space those out or you're just going to, your face will pucker. So, interesting. And then finally, very California, truffle honey.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Truffle infused honey, and then they use a charcoal truffle salt on the top. I like that juxtaposition of the salty with the sweet. I like that combo. I've also found in Foley, Alabama, they're called the Sassy Bass Crazy Donuts.
Incredible name.
They do donut burgers. They do ice cream donuts. And they have one called the Redhead. It is a cake donut covered with caramel glaze, graham crackers, white glaze icing, and cinnamon sprinkle. They like to call it their dessert donut.
Wouldn't all donuts be dessert donuts?
Well, we generally think of them as breakfast. So
yeah, but everywhere else on the planet, they're like, that's a dessert food.
And Sassy Bass also serves cocktails. So
fuck yeah.
Big points, Foley, Alabama. And finally, Rebel Donuts in Albuquerque. They have a red chili chocolate bacon. But it's not chili like a bowl of chili. It is the New Mexico pepper chili. So it's a chocolate cake with fudge icing, a little bit of bacon, and the New Mexico red chili pepper. That
sounds like a lot.
Is a divisive donut.
Yeah,
I don't think you eat that and go, that was okay. I think you go,
no,
fuck, that was awesome, or Jesus Christ, that was terrible. There is
chocolate and heat are a pair that
yes,
sometimes goes together. Throw bacon on there, that's.
Now I will tell you, the favorite brownie that I make, I put maple bacon in it, and everybody who looks at it and I tell them what it is, they're like, oh, I don't know. Every person without fail is like, that works. Bacon and chocolate works. So,
but do you make it spicy too?
I do not.
That's the thing.
I know. So now you're
chocolate
adding...
and spicy work, and chocolate and bacon work.
I know.
Chocolate, bacon,
you know
and
what it is?
work.
It all depends on how crazy they go with that pepper. If it's so hot that nothing else, you can't taste the bacon, you can't taste the chocolate, then it's ruined. But if there's a little bit of elegance to it, I bet it's a...
I guess it depends on how expensive it is to get that chili.
That's exactly right. If it's
super cheap, they're like, pour that shit on, baby. But if it's expensive, they're like, we got to be careful with this.
Okay, so as we normally do, 3 donuts. Always start with a glazed donut. That is the minimum buy-in to open a donut place. And Eric, tell me where you went and about your glazed donut, please.
All right, so I went to CK's Donuts on 8333 Folsom Boulevard here in Sacramento. Little place, unassuming, next to a gas station. And we talk about the glazed donut being the minimum buy-in for a donut shop. And I would say that this glazed donut is exactly that. It is a good enough glazed donut for you to want to try all the other things. It is a glazed donut you eat, and you're like, that's a solid mom and pop shop glazed donut. Now let's see what else they have to offer.
Okay.
Because there's nothing really to write home about. Like, I wouldn't say this glazed donut would be like a staple of their shop.
Was it big? Was it expensive?
It was $1.65. Pretty average price. It was 4 inches. I'd say that's a little bit bigger than all the other ones. Not by a whole lot, but still a little bit bigger. The glaze, my first bite, it was pretty sweet. But as you go in more to the donut, it kind of tempers itself. No glaze on the bottom, unfortunately. I think I think if we find a glazed donut where they do flip it over and glaze the bottom, that just has to be an immediate 5. It's so rare.
It is rare,
to find.
but it's still got to be a good donut.
Yeah. I'd
You
say
will
that,
get bonus points for it, but
yeah, I'd say like an immediate, like you're starting instead from a 0 to 5, it's now a 3 to 5. Like if you glaze the bottom, the lowest you can get is a 3.
okay. Well, we
That
haven't
makes sense to
found
me.
one yet. Show number 11,
not yet.
and we haven't found one yet. So I'm sure they exist,
yeah.
right? Somebody's
have to.
doing it.
Somebody has
Somebody has to post at the end of our show in the comments section of a donut place they know that glazes the top and the bottom. There's got to be somebody out there who knows.
Has to be. So yeah, this glazed donut, I'd say it was, better than a chain glazed donut, but I wouldn't say it's anything to write home about either. Again, like it's a good buy-in glazed donut. You have this glazed donut, you go, this is a solid mom and pop shop. Let's see what else they have to offer. So I think I'm gonna rate this one 3.3.
Okay, solid. You're right. That's a solid
glazed donut.
Okay, so I have gone to one of the Mount Rushmore donut joints in St. Louis. The Donut Drive-In, 6525 Chippewa, is a legendary donut place in St. Louis. Been there forever. They're open way late at night, way early in the morning. I should make sure of this, but it wouldn't surprise me if they're a 24-hour joint, 5 or 6 days a week. At least 20 hours that they're open.
Mm-hmm.
All of the donuts I bought today, $1.48. You buy a dozen, and the price comes down about 20 cents a donut. They have so many kinds in there. And so we start with the glazed donut. 3.5 inches by 5 inches. It's an oblong donut, but it's a mamba jamba. So it would easily be a 4.5 inch round donut if I got one of the really round donuts. The glaze is fabulous. It's whoever's making the glaze has hit on the correct chemical compound, because it's sweet. It's not overly sweet. It's well done onto the donut, of course, not on the bottom. It adds to the yeast dough. And the yeast dough, I'm getting almost a vanilla hint. This is such a flavorful donut. I took a bite out of the bottom where there's no glaze, and it's still a very good donut. Some glazed donuts, if you bite where there's no glaze, it can taste a little oily.
Yeah,
This,
because essentially that's all the flavor that's there.
yes,
If there's no glaze, if there's no icing,
but
if it's just the donut that's fried in oil, you're going to taste oil.
But I'm not sure how they dry this, how they let it after it comes out, but just the bottom of the donut by itself is a good donut with no glaze on it. And then you add a really good glaze. The dough is flavorful. This is a 4.2. This is a really... I think 4.2 might be the second best glazed donut that I've had in our 11 shows.
I think so, yeah.
If you go into work and some dude brings in a dozen glazed donuts from Donut Drive-In, thumbs up. That dude gets a raise.
Yes.
That is
absolutely
a great,
especially because
donut.
when you go to bring in donuts and he just brings in a dozen glaze, it can feel like a cop out sometimes.
Yes.
Just to bring glazed donuts, it's like, really, dude. You couldn't throw in assorted. You couldn't trust the shop or trust your coworkers that they maybe like something else other than glaze. But if he brings in a dozen glaze that are all excellent glazed donuts, then he's like, well, I get it.
And to me, that speaks to how well the place is. If all you have is glaze and you frickin' love it,
and it's still an excellent choice and an excellent shop.
Donut Drive-In, baby. Way to start. Up next, our second donut today.
It is a chocolate ice raised donut. We talked earlier when we were talking about donuts. You thought they glazed these and then put chocolate on it? Is that correct?
It is a plain yeast, and then they put
Yes.
chocolate on it. Is what I
Yes.
got.
Yeah, no glaze goes on these. But my chocolate donut, I kind of wish there was. 'Cause there was not a whole lot of chocolate icing on this donut. Uh, it, the donut looked very pretty because of how the chocolate icing was on it. It was very neat and clean. Um, but if I'm getting a donut where all it has is chocolate icing on it, I really want some chocolate icing on that donut. And there wasn't a whole lot. And so it was the point where you get to almost the middle of the donut and you have that real thin bit of the donut. You've taken a few bites out of the front and there's just like that thin little ring still holding it together, where it was just plain donut. And it was just didn't taste like anything. There was no icing. There was nothing on it.
Oh.
Yeah, there was just not nearly enough chocolate icing on it, which was also bad because the chocolate icing it was pretty good.
Okay.
So now it makes me even more sad that I didn't get more of it because I enjoyed the little bit I had. So yeah, I think I want to give this like a 2.9.
Ooh.
It's like it's I this is not a donut I think you should go and get from there.
Okay.
I think you should try to grab something more chocolate, because this was not. If you want a chocolate donut, I don't think this is enough to suffice.
Okay. So that's not a donut that you go to the shop for. Clearly.
Yeah. This is. I guess if someone wants something chocolate but not too chocolate, if someone's picky about their chocolate, I guess this is the donut for them. Which I don't know any person like that. I don't think I want to know a person like that.
Okay. So, wow.
I take it your donut's pretty good.
So, one of the bonus points that we gave the shop, Donut Palace, last week was the fact that you give them a donut and they have 4 different kinds of filling that they will do for you right then and there. Even if there's 20 people in line, you can get the people behind the counter to go fill that donut. Same thing at Donut Drive-In. As crazy jacked busy as they are. And I will tell you this, when I got there, I couldn't even go in. I was 5th in line to even go in the door. So you couldn't even go in. That's how crowded they were. It's Friday morning. I get it. But you and I have been there before after a Blues game at midnight, and you couldn't get inside. So, popular for a reason. So, I didn't see any yeast donuts with chocolate icing. And I asked, do you have any? And she said, we can make you a couple. Oh, well, what? So
That's incredible.
picked a couple of the yeast donuts out, not glazed, just the yeast. Went in the back, came back, and when you see the picture, this is, well, I still have half of it. This is a
you can show it.
gloriously chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is what I wish my donut looked like.
So here is the bomb for this. It's the same yeast dough, and it's delicious by itself. Then they coat it in chocolate, and it is a chocolate fudge topping. It's not sweet, it's not too sweet, it's not sugary, it's not gritty. It is a chocolate fudge icing that is excellent. 4.5 inches by 4 3/4 inches. So it's a big old beastie donut. It's 2.5 inches tall, and you're getting a big beast of a great donut for $1.48. The difference between the glazed and this, no glaze on it, chocolate instead.
Mm-hmm.
There's a 4.3. The
Oh,
chocolate
wow.
elevates this donut. The donut you can eat by itself. The chocolate fudge by itself, excellent. Put them together. This is a 4.3, man. This is a freaking great donut. I don't know.
I'm so jealous.
I don't know that I've had maybe one other shop that's had a couple of 4+ scores from their donuts. If same story, dude walks in with 12 plain yeast donuts with chocolate icing, everybody's like, oh, where's the variety? And then everybody who eats one is like, that's an excellent donut, Bob. Great donut, man. Goodness gracious, 2 for 2. Donut drive-in.
I'm so jealous. I wanted chocolate so bad, and mine did not give me that. Okay, so our third donut, we are different this week, unfortunately. I have just a plain glazed jelly-filled donut. And my jelly-filled donut is one we talked about a little bit earlier, where it's kind of like a sandwich, like a clamshell, like you said.
Okay.
Where it was kind of split open and jelly was put in. And so one of the benefits of that is that it's really hard to not fill that all the way, because you can see the entire inside of the donut. So you can see where jelly needs to get to fill the whole donut. And luckily that's what it was. Every bite of this, a lot of jelly, and it was good. This was a really good jelly. It wasn't super sweet, which I think was good because the glaze is really sweet as well. So I think if both of them were incredibly sweet, it just would have been too much. But I liked that the jelly was a little subdued, so it was a good mix with the glaze. This one was 4 inches, same size as the plain glazed donut. I will say, this one was a little bit more expensive. This one was $2.25, which I don't know. I hesitate to say that's good value, because there wasn't anything that like blew me away about this jelly-filled donut. It was a really good jelly-filled donut. I think it's the best out of the 3 I've eaten out of this place today. But still, I think $2.25. I think you want something maybe a little bit bigger and more. I want to say messy. Like, if I'm going over $2 for a donut that's filled, like I want to have to hold a napkin under me so I don't get jelly all over me. Like,
that's funny
don't get
that
me wrong.
you're trying to convince people that you use napkins.
Yes. All right. But yeah, this was a good jelly-filled donut. I think I'm gonna give it a 3.7.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Definitely higher than average, like than an average shop, but nothing really to write home about.
so if Bob brought in a dozen, is it raspberry jelly?
Yes.
Okay. If Bob brought in a dozen of those, people would be like, nah, you should have got something else, Bob.
Yeah, I think people would have said maybe a little more variety.
Okay. So my strong foray at the donut drive-in concludes I did not get a raspberry jelly filled. I got a lemon filled.
That's putting the lemon on top of it.
And it goes down into the middle. Now,
Woo!
a Dave Leggett bite gets you to the middle. Not everybody has that capacity. So you will get some bites with just a glazed donut. But as we know, the glazed donut by itself is excellent.
Is very good. Yeah.
And then you get to the surprise that is the lemon filling and some.
I mean, it's not much of a surprise because they
It's
put
on
a
top.
bunch of it on
Yes.
top. So you know it.
Yes. That's true. No surprise. When you finally reach the lemon, how about that? It's a really good lemon. It's kind of tart. It's not a sickly, sweet, sugary lemon. It is kind of a little bit of sour to the lemon. So it's a different vibe than just sugar, sweet, sweet. This is a 4.0. This is the first time I've gone with 3 4s at a donut place. Donut drive-in.
That's
You, my friends, you are awesome. You have long lines. You have great tradition for a reason. All 3 of these donuts, all 3 of them. And it's beautiful. And it's huge. 5.5 by 3.5.
Oh my God.
2.5 inches tall. Now, this is their specialty, so it's priced a little higher. $1.89. For a donut this delicious, the most expensive donut, and it's still a 4.0. I'm kind of in awe. I'm down on my knees and I'm praying to the donut drive-in in Chippewa. The combined scores, the taste, the flavor, the look, the price. My God, if you're anywhere near, please go to the donut drive-in on Chippewa.
And they're open almost 24 hours.
If you are ever jonesing, it doesn't matter if you had the late night munchies or 6 in the morning before you go to work. You want to be the most popular dude at your work on a Friday? Bring in a dozen or 2 of donut drive-in donuts. Oh my heavens to Murgatroyd! What this is my favorite stop.
Yeah, this is easily the highest rated, I think, shop of the whole podcast so far.
I believe that's absolutely correct. So everybody else, the bar has been set very high. This is 3 excellent donuts. So way to finish strong. Good kick. And as we do at the end of all the shows, we grill Eric with our trivia time. Dun, 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 dun.
I'm pulling up a map of the world. I'm tired of not knowing geography.
All right. Our first donut from around the world. Pampushka. It is a small yeast donut filled with either fruits or preserves. Pampushka.
Pampushka.
And sometimes it's a savory topped where they put a garlic sauce on it. So sweet or savory. Pampushka.
Pampushka. So I want to say Asia? Is it somewhere in Asia?
Not even the right continent. No.
Fuck. Okay.
Think of nesting dolls.
Well, so Russia.
It is. It's. Do you know the name of them?
Russian nesting dolls?
Yes. Babushka.
Yes.
Is so that's where we are in the world. It's not Russia, but it's very close.
So it is in Asia.
No.
What?
Russia is in Europe.
No, it's not. Russia's in Asia.
What? You and I are both idiots.
Is Russia is a transcontinental country that spans both Europe and Asia.
Okay, so we're both right. I am trying to give you a hint of where the pampushka is from. Are you looking up?
See, now I'm in this hole. Is Russia Europe or Asia? It's got to be Asia.
It's not. It's the European side.
Therefore, the Russian Federation currently straddles both plates. Yeah, I know where it is geographically. Tell me. Just tell me if it's Europe or Asia.
It's Europe. It is the European side where this donut is most popular. Very close. Very, very close. Very unpopular at the moment.
Oh,
No, it's very popular, and it's making Russia very unpopular.
Oh, Ukraine?
It is. This is the Ukrainian donut. Pampushka.
Ukraine.
All right, up next, I'm gonna give you a little heads up. We're gonna stay in Europe.
Okay.
Okay? We're in Europe.
Okay.
It's called the Smolt Ring. S-M-U-L-T. Smolt Ring. It is served only during Christmas. It is a thick, heavy donut, and they serve it with ice cream.
Ooh. Okay.
Think Alpine.
Alpine. Switzerland?
No,
Fuck!
it's Norway.
Norway! Before you said Alpine, I was thinking Norway.
Yeah, you got
You said Alpine, so I thought Swiss Alps.
Got to go with your gut.
Oh my god. I think you purposely led me astray
Nope.
that time.
And
I think
finally,
you... God damn it!
Utah. Y-O-U-T-I-A-O. Utah. It is a twisted, fried, savory dough stick traditionally dipped in a warm soy milk.
Soy. Okay.
So where is
Warm
this?
soy milk. That makes me think Asia.
Yes.
Warm soy milk. Am I
It is in Asia.
East or West Asia?
Very, very big Asia.
China?
China. That is a Chinese donut. The Utah. A Chinese donut. It's a savory donut. And so as we've learned, even from our trip to London and to Greece, that a savory, the super sweet donuts, the super sweet desserts that we are crazy with here in the U.S., the European countries kind of tone it down. So savory donut is a very common find across all of the oceans. So
That doesn't make a lick of sense to me. But all right, guys.
So that wraps up our show today, the Midwest Donut Review. And as we do at the end of all the shows, Eric, how can people get in touch?
Well, they can rate and review our show on Apple Podcasts. That goes straight to me. Pretty sure I get that like in an email or something. It says, "Hey, Eric, someone said something to you."
Okay.
Which would be great. Commenting on our YouTube videos, I also get stuff for that. I see every comment. So if you want to get in touch, rate and review, comment. But in order to do that consistently, you've got to follow us on Apple Podcasts, and you got to subscribe and turn on notifications on YouTube so you don't miss an episode. I've been pretty good putting out episodes on the same day consistently. Hopefully that continues, but if not, making sure you're following us on social medias, even on Instagram. We're at Midwest Donuts Pod on Instagram. We post pictures of all the donuts before we horf them down. We show a tremendous restraint, and it's well documented. So
If you would've-
follow us on all the social medias.
If you would have told me when I was 12 years old, one day you're just going to take a picture of a donut and you're going to cut it in half and you're still not going to eat it, I'd be like, does that mean I'm going to die at age 13? Yes, you're right. Great restraint. We do it for the fans.
Yes, we do it for you, fans.
And
in return, all we ask is that you tell us what donut shops you like.
yes. And I want to add to our ever-expanding list of potential Hollywood A-listers who will be joining us on the show at some point. We're going to add Will Ferrell. Will has a new documentary out where he drives cross-country with one of his best friends who has transitioned. And they
Harper Steele. Yes.
And they drive from New York to California. And one of the last parts of the documentary, Harper finally gives in to Will and they stop at a fucking Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh my God.
Will has been crying for a Dunkin' Donuts stop. And Harper's like, no way. No way. Finally, at the end of the doc, she gives in and they go to a Dunkin' Donut. And so we need to have him on here.
And enlighten him.
Oh, I was thinking lambast or kick some ass or something. Yeah. Welcome to the show. What the fuck are you doing, Will Ferrell?
I would say we, could lift him up and show him better ways, but if you just want to kick his ass, I guess that's fine too, I guess.
I'm just talking big. When he comes on the show, we'll be nice to him. We'll just show him the error of his ways, that the mom and pops are the way to go.
Yes.
Don't give in to the devil.
Can we be held liable for that? Is that calling them the devil? Can we get in trouble for that?
I don't think there's any money to be had, quite honestly. So
yeah, that's true. We're not getting paid to do this, so that's fine.
All right, so that'll wrap up our episode of the Midwest Donut Review. I'm Dave Leggett in St. Louis. That is Eric Leggett in Sacramento. Appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us, Eric. We will talk very soon about donuts.
See you all next week.